Apparently I didn't get the email about send the slides to Liam, and he didn't remind me either. That's fine. Anyway, I'm going to talk about game audio today. Can you tell? Yeah? Cool. Okay, this is a very formal introduction, which I'm going to go through very, very quickly. It's actually all about me because I love talking about myself. But I'm going to do it really quickly. I'm not even going to read all my notes here. So my name is Sally Kellaway. I do game audio and VR audio design as well. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. I advocate for diversity in my industries, particularly gender diversity. So that's something I'm really, really passionate about. I don't know if there was like a fist bump or something, but yeah. I also run the Virtual Reality Content Creators Network for Australia, so the VRCC, which you probably saw me spamming a lot like in the last couple of weeks. So if you really like virtual reality, you should just join my thing or talk to me about it too. I work with Zero Latency, which I think are pretty cool because they give you a backpack and a VR headset and let you run around in a warehouse and shoot zombies or other things or not shoot things too. Oh, I also speak at lots of conferences are they going to build in? They always take forever. Whatever. Lots of different ones. So I speak here in Australia, I speak in the States, and I've spoken in Sweden as well, which is great because they have amazing cinnamon buns. But that's okay. It's so true. Okay, today I only have 10 minutes. I can't even believe that. I'm already 1 minute and 15 down as well. So I'm going to talk about really quickly what makes games so special for audio and what makes audio so special for games. I cannot teach you how to do game audio in 10 minutes. That's impossible. And I'm really sorry about that. But I'm kind of going to give you a few things to think about so that you really understand how cool and rad audio is and can really start to use it in your creative design for your games. So I'm going to start by thinking about audio philosophically. Did that do a little wiggle thing? It should wiggle. Is it wiggling? That's so good. So sound generally is linear because it exists as a function of time. If time does not pass, then there is no sound that happens. So if I was to stop talking, you wouldn't be able to hear me talking because I wouldn't be making sound. It's a lot more acoustical than that because I have a master's in that thing, and I'm not going to bore you with that stuff because you will actually fall asleep. That's okay. But all that philosophical stuff and acoustical stuff, we only have 10 minutes. I'm just going to tell you about how sound is really important. I've actually got some cool videos that are really great examples, and you're going to have a laugh, and it's going to be great. Cool. So sound is the difference between, sometimes it's boredom and death. So if you don't have to guess what movie this is from. There's no sound in this one. That's the point. Wow, there's all these kids that are splashing in the water. How cool is this? They'd be making happy kid noises if this was a movie that was normal. He's building a really bad sand castle. He's looking out into the distance. Oh, this is so majestic. Oh, it's a piece of wood. This is amazing. Splashing, splashing. Can you guess what's going to happen? Isn't this just funny without the music, though? I love it. It's just really bad. That's okay. It actually stops before all the bad stuff happens because I didn't want to scare anyone. But you can kind of close your eyes now if you like. I forget when I cut it. Oh, that looks weird. Everyone sort of notices, oh, I didn't stop it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I did actually cue that, but it didn't do it. Anyway, that was only funny because I was sort of doing a bit of a voiceover for it and really paying it out. But if you've watched any of those Jaws films, you would really understand how much those semitones do really make you feel the intensity of what's going on in those movies, right? And the fact that they stretch out those tense scenes for so long really makes the music even more intense. Anyway, here's another great example. This one actually does have audio.
Is it safe?
Sure. Do you trust me?
What?
Do you trust me?
Yes.
That's actually realistic. It's okay. It's okay. Thanks, Aladdin. Thanks, Aladdin. That one's been going around on the internet for a few times this year, actually. So that's not new, and I didn't make that. But it's a really great example of how realism isn't always what you're really going for. So you really need to have a really good creative vision with your audio, right? Now I'm going to read these notes that popped up. So those are cheap examples, Sal. Not really. Yes, they were, but of course, it was for a comic effect and to really get you to think about what's happening in the audio in those clips. They actually perfectly describe that when you are really trying to create a feeling, this is like the interpretive dance for feeling, with media, like videos, for example, sound can make it or sound can break it. And those were two examples of where sound breaks it because the sound was not quite right. So they can also give you an amazing amount of creative space to play with to create the perfect feeling. And that's the thing that I really want to give to you today in the next 4 minutes and something. But games are not movies, are they, Sal? Are they? No, they're not. That's okay. I thought about this, and we're back to this slide because we're going to think about audio and games philosophically for about 2 seconds. I'm really sorry. So media exists in either that linear format or that non-linear format. So those were great examples of linear format, so like movies, right? Movies. Versus video games, so something like this thing. How cute is that? It's a GIF, so there's no audio. We're just going to look at it. Bling, bling, cool. Anyway, unfortunately, video games are not linear. That's a linear representation of a video game, so we could put audio to that like a movie, but we're not going to do that today. You could go backwards, forwards, leftwards, rightwards, upwards, downwards. You can die. I'm not falling over. You could live again. Yay. You can eat cake. You can be denied cake as well. You can do anything you imagine in any order as long as the designer has let you do that. And the player has control of a lot of that stuff as well. Yeah, that's right. They don't equal each other. So what's the problem? There's a problem here, right? Humans are incredibly perceptive and can tell when something sounds wrong. So for example, footsteps. If I was to walk around and the same asset would play over and over again, man, that would annoy me, and it'd annoy a lot of you as well, because you're pretty smart and your brain knows when things are wrong. You'd expect that if I was just walking, it would sound like it was if I was just walking, and if I was to run or jump, there's more of an impact sound. It's louder, there's more bass because I'm on a stage and stuff like that. So we, everyone here, as designers, we have to think of new ways and even think of new creative ways to manipulate sound to try and replicate how adaptive real life sound is to real life. But we have to do that in our games. So the basic concept, and what I'm actually just trying to tell you over and over again with different memes and GIFs and videos, is sound is a core part of design. You should plan your sound design as you plan your game, because that's a really good time to do it. I bet that every single time you're sitting around drawing things or writing things, because I really understand the total pipeline of games, you're and it'll go, shoo, yeah, you have all these ideas about sounds, right? But if you don't write them down, then how are you going to remember them? Oh, damn it. Maybe you should write things down. So thinking about your sound design as you plan your game allows you to express your design concepts, so all that amazing stuff you do up here, into your sound design concepts. It just translates them into sound. It's amazing. It helps you express your scenes and your environments. If you actually, when you're making levels and level design documents, or just drawing out maps, if you can place sound, the suggestion of sound assets along those maps, you can start to create the feeling of those worlds, of those scenes, of those environments. It also helps you express, thinking about your sound design also helps you express stories, your stories and your player relationship, the relationship the player has with the story and everything that's happening to them. So they can be really important sounds that mean something to your player, or even more importantly, music that changes in the game to really help describe what that player is going through. I actually have this little emoji story, which I was I totally have time for this, but I totally don't have time for this. So that's okay. This guy, he's a little bit scared, if you couldn't tell, because there's these zombies coming at them. Usually, one of the things that I did at Zero Latency with our zombie game is when the zombies were really far away, they were only making little zombie noises and then when they got a little bit closer, they were because they were a bit excited. If they were in the line of sight, they would get pretty excited about your brains, right? And then when they got really close, like this sort of close, they were like going for it, like, and when there's like impacts, like when they're hitting you in the face, they really like have a bit of a roar. And I'm not doing the zombie roar because I'm not doing the zombie roar. But really thinking about how the scariness of that zombie can change, even like with such a simple mechanic as the zombie gets closer to the player that's scared, is a really cool thing to think about, because it means that you can make your player more scared when the zombie gets closer, and not just because they can see all the blood on the zombie's face and they look really gross. Anyway, there's like heaps of other stuff in here. No, go. Oh, you get rescued at the end. That's the important bit that everyone needs to hear. There's another point of mine, is that it's really important to know which are the most important sounds in your game. It's like when that helicopter comes, the player definitely needs to know that it's coming. Otherwise, they're going to be really sad when they see their friends fly off and be rescued and they're not. Yeah, that's okay. Thanks, helicopter. Oh my God, he gets rescued. He's saved. It's wonderful. Oh, here we go. So go forth in audio. Please hit me with questions. There's so much I couldn't cover, and this was like the most entertaining version of a game audio talk that I could think of. You can add me on Twitter. You can also ask me about VR too. I'm going to go now because it's 11 minutes. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sal.